So it's 4:47 a.m. and I'm on my way to work. I get up every morning at 3:30 a.m. and I get ready. So I have to be at work at 5:30, and I enjoy it. I know that may sound strange to so many people, but I've been in the house for so many years, and I was a full-time braider. So standing up every single day, except for on Sundays, but on some Sundays, I would still do hair because I would accidentally put 2 people on the same day before I had opened up my booking site. I know you guys can't see me real good, but just bear with me. But like I said, I used to stay at home every single day. I've always been the type of person to where I did not like going places. I stayed in the house even when I wasn't doing hair. So just getting out and meeting people, interacting with other people is something that I enjoy. And like I stated in one of my previous videos, that most people that have been working a 9-to-5 for several years, they are burnt out. Well, I've been braiding hair for about almost 30 years, and even though that's my passion, I'm burnt out. And believe me when I say that God is behind this thing as well, because I've always been like an introvert, and I say that I was, if you can be an introvert and an extrovert at the same time, and if so, then that's me, because I'm a people person, but I'm not a people person. And I lived in my childhood trauma for so many years to where I'm tired of it. I received my breakthrough a couple of years ago, and I forgave the person that did what they did to me as a little girl. So I even forgave them to the point to where I actually felt sorry for them, and I wondered if something may have happened to them as a child. And that's true forgiveness, because you will not be forgiven. I ain't even gonna say cannot. You will not be forgiven if you don't forgive. And I know that that's very hard for some people, but what we don't realize is that we are making our own lives miserable. Those people have moved on. Like, the person that did what he did to me, he's dead and gone. But before he was dead and gone, I had so much hatred in my heart, and I even thought that I forgave him several years, over 20 years before that, because I knocked at his door to tell him that I forgave him, and no one came to the door. So before I moved to the state of Georgia, in my mind, I really thought that I forgave him. But in all reality, I really didn't, because I still walked around being a victim. And when I say being a victim, meaning that I always had a wall up so high to where I'm ready. I'm always ready. I'm on one. So if someone comes my way and they cross me, I always have a defense mechanism, or I'm ready to just snap on them. I walked around for several years with a frown on my face, and a lot of people was wondering, who am I mad at? Until I had to realize and understand that people see me. And sometimes when we're walking in our pain, sometimes when we're walking in our anger, we don't realize that people see us, and they see that something is wrong. But the problem with that is that they don't blame the perpetrator. They don't blame the other people. They blame us because of how we are reacting or how we are treating other people. That's one thing I had to be broken from. I had to allow the Holy Spirit to come into my life and take that away from me. Because like I said, although I forgave my molester, I still had that frown on my face, because it turned, I don't want to say that it turned into a permanent frown, but it was just something that just stuck there, and I was so used to having it there that it was nothing to me. It became a part of my being. But now I smile, and it almost brings tears to my eyes, because I wasted all those years. I wasted 40-something years frowning and not smiling, when it's so much in life to smile about. It's so much in life to be happy about. Just being here is something to be happy about. And I know it seems like I've drifted off from the job subject, but I really haven't, because like I said, being at this 9-to-5, being around other people, I am now walking in my originality, the person who I really am deep down on the inside is now living on the outside of me. And that is something to be happy about, because now I'm not living in captivity anymore. I am free. And the Bible says that whom the Son sets free is truly free indeed. So if I am really free, then why am I looking like that? I'm not angry anymore. I mean, it's even things that people have done around me since working at this 9 to 5 that could have pushed me back into my old ways, but I will not. That truck is loud. I will not allow it to, because I have a joy on the inside of me now. And when you have the joy of the Lord, can't nobody take that from you. Nobody at all. So like I said, I am enjoying this 9 to 5. I've been out here in the workforce now for like 3 or going on 4 months. And some of you probably like, what? Are you serious? I'm dead serious. Just 3.5 or 4 months is how long or how short I've been out here. But when I stopped braiding hair, it was a couple of years ago. And I kept like 1 or 2 people, and then I dropped it down to 1. But I was still at home. I mean, you know, once you braid a person's hair, their hair stays up for at the most or the longest 3 months. And the lady hair that I was doing, she's such a sweetheart, and I feel so bad because I haven't been able to braid her hair anymore since I started this job. And the very first job that I started, I worked from 7 to 3, and my body was worn down, my feet was hurting. I ended up getting my first corn on my pinky toe, and you talking about mad. Like, I was very, very mad that I got that corn on my toe, but that didn't stop me. Now the speed limit is 65. I have to drop my speed limit down to 59 because these people do not want to drive the regular speed limit. They really going slow. Yeah, go ahead on, pick it up. Pick it up. There you go. Okay, I'm at 64. The speed limit is 65. Okay, I'm at 65 now. Look at God. Won't he do it? I drive behind these slow drivers every single morning, but I never let it get to the point to where it'll drive me to have road rage, because it's not that serious. I still thank God because he didn't have to allow me to get back into the workforce so easy. Because back then, you didn't have to have a resume. You didn't have to do all of those things. Now, I didn't have to have a resume when I started this job. And just imagine how my resume would have looked at in the first place. Like, what else could I have on there that my last job was back in 1990 something? When I got this job, it was 2024. So, looking at my resume, he would have never understood at all. But that's why I know the power of God is very real. But that was my previous job. I worked there for like a couple of months. And I'm just going to be honest, I had to get away from there because, like I said, he was firing people and dropping them like flies. And he was keeping other workers that wasn't working. And God opened up a door to where in the department that I was in, someone came to me and told me that their department was hiring. So after he fired my child, I first told her about it and told her to try to apply there. And although it was for me, at the same time, I felt the need to look out for my kid. Then after she applied, that is when I applied as well. And we worked in the same department at first. So applying for this new job shouldn't have been no different. Like my husband, he works in a total different department than I did when I first began. But I still was put over in his area sometimes to work with him. And that's what I love, because I was stuck at the house so much to where I felt like I was going crazy. Like, my husband would come home and tell me work-related stuff, and I would be so, I'ma just say it, I was jealous, but I didn't know that I was jealous at that time. But I was like, okay, I gotta hear about this job again. I gotta hear about this job this, this job that. I was like, but I'm at home, and I'm so used to us being around each other because I braided hair for a living, and he did seasonal work, yards, and he mowed yards in the summertime, raked leaves in the wintertime. So we've always been around each other. So for that whole entire year that he was working, I felt some type of way. I really did. And like I said, I didn't know that it was jealousy, but I was a little bitter, honey. I was. But I'm not bitter now. Just like when Shamar said, I am no longer with Metro, but I'm with AT&T. Yeah, so since I'm no longer at home, I've come to him so many times telling him, oh, the job this, the job that, but it's not in a mean way, just like his wasn't in a mean way. But whatever had happened, you just want to talk to somebody about it, right? And so it has been so many situations that were funny, a lot of situations that were unfair that I've talked to him about, and it was like a slap in the face. I had to stop and realize that, okay, I get it. That's why you will come home and always talk to me about the job. So he no longer had to deal with me being bitter. But God allowed a door to be open for me to go to another job. And I'm just gonna keep it real with you guys. This first job that I was at, it almost felt like, I won't even say prison, it felt like the county. And I've never went to jail. Never in my life have I been to jail. But from the stories that people have told me, you know, from me visiting other people, it kind of felt like that. And you know that I'm being sarcastic, but at the same time, I need to use something as an example. But in the beginning, at this very first job, not the job that I'm at now, I've steady been talking about the job that I started out with in the month of September. I will always hear people saying that if so-and-so, which is the boss, if he find out that you even thinking about going to another job, because it's a plant and it's so many different departments out here. But this person was saying over and over, steady drilling it in our ear, if he find out or if he even think that you're trying to get a job somewhere else. And she was like, if he even think or if he smell, if he even sniff that you are trying to work in another department or trying to go somewhere else, then he's gonna ban you from the company and this and that or whatever, right? So I'm gonna be honest, when this new job opportunity was laid out before me, I took what she kept saying. Notice I said kept because she kept repeating it. She kept saying it over and over and over. But I kept that in consideration, because isn't that what I was supposed to do? And see, the thing that we have to understand is that if you hear someone saying something over and over and over, that's just like mind control. People can really take advantage of people and control their mind when they tell you over and over and over something, because it gets to the point to where it's embedded into your mind. Okay, so I'm pulling up. It's 5:15. I have to be in there at 5:30. But yeah, she kept on. She just kept pushing this. Kept pushing it, saying it over and over and over. So when God opened up the door for me to go to another department, I kept that in consideration when she told me that so-and-so said, even if he think he da-da-da-da. And see, that's control at the same time, because that's control and abuse at the same time. Because that's just like a man abusing you and telling you that if you ever leave me, I'm a blah, 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 blah. Okay, same thing. But I have to let God handle that. Like, I hold no grudges. I still speak to that person. And I still show love, because that's what I'm supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, they probably trapped, but I wasn't. When it was time for me to come to this job, I did have the opportunity to put in a 2 weeks notice. I was asked if I needed to put in a 2 weeks notice. But I have to be very honest and say that by that person steady saying that if that boss find out, then we will be banned, that is the very reason why I didn't put in one. Like I said, I couldn't tell them ahead of time or they would have fired me. Then they would try to make it hard for me to come back. So I just sent the manager guy that was yelling at the other young lady that was acting like he was confused on why my daughter was getting yelled at and fired. Well, I texted him and I told him if he could get somebody to work in my department because I would no longer be there. And he said, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Is there anything that I can do to change your mind? And I said, no, thank you. So they made a big deal out of me leaving, but nobody was looking at the fact that this one particular person kept making a big deal and saying that if you die, you're gonna die. And they forgot that I would have gave my 2 weeks notice if I hadn't have been threatened, if someone wasn't just riding my back 24/7 or riding everyone's back that worked in the department, steady telling them. And the sad part about it is it's other people that has worked in another department, didn't even put in their 2 weeks notice. The manager guy, he was like, I really hate that Tasha is gone because she was one of our best workers. I know I was, because I did everything and then some. I know I was, because I stayed past the time that I supposed to clocked out. And I made sure that I did my work, although I was told by many people, and it was people in position, once it's time for you to clock out, you leave it for the second shift. But I still chose not to do that. I actually work now right next to the department that I moved from. And the job that they are doing is nothing compared to what I used to do. Literally, basically, they ain't doing nothing. I truly know in my heart that God opened up the door for me to be where I'm at. I just started out here in the work field. So will I not give a 2 weeks notice if I ever move on to another job? I will. I surely will. But do I regret not putting in a 2 weeks notice from this last job? I don't. I surely don't. But like I said, I enjoy it. I loved it. Even where I was at, I loved just being at work. I loved being at work. If I wasn't talking to you guys right now, I would have already been in there and starting out, even though it's not time yet. It's 5:25. I can clock in 5 minutes early, but I would have probably just went in there, took all my stuff off, put my stuff in my locker, and then just started getting things together. And I'm about to get ready to do that now. But like I said, it's a reason why I'm not burnt out. I really get it and understand why a lot of you guys are burnt out, because you have been working. Like this one girl says, she's been working ever since she was 16. That's pretty much a lot of people. I started out working when I was 16. It's just that I allowed my gift to make room for me, and that was braiding hair. That's how dedicated, that's how faithful that I was to the braid game. And now it's my time and my job to be dedicated and faithful to this 9 to 5, to this job game. It's not a game, but you know what I'm saying. So let me go ahead and end this video and clock in. It's 5:27. I hope you guys enjoy it. Like these videos that's been floating around, they are saying that YouTube is in easy mode now. So there's no need of making sure that you have an aesthetic background. I am here to talk about how I love my 9 to 5. Many of you get on here talking about how you hate your 9 to 5, how you quit your 9 to 5 to pursue YouTube or your other dreams. I have other dreams. I still have a purpose out here on earth. But what I've learned to also add in what God has shown me, that I can still work a 9 to 5 and also fulfill my purpose at the same time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, hit that bell notification button so you'll be the first one to be notified whenever I upload my next video. You guys have a blessed one. Good morning.